It was a quiet Sunday in Bangor, Maine. The kind of sleepy summer evening where nothing unusual is expected until the thuds began. June 12th, 2011. The Jeskis' next-door neighbor had just finished dinner when she received a call from Roxanne Jesk. It was casual friendly even. But within the hour, the silence of the evening was shattered by the sound of violent crashing from Roxanne and Rick's apartment. Bang! Thud! Another bang! Again and again. For 6 straight hours, the pounding came in waves. The neighbor called back several times. Each time, Roxanne insisted everything was fine. But her voice was scattered, disorganized, and disturbing. Rick Jeski was a gentleman by all accounts, a full-time freight truck driver, a doting grandfather. In truth, Rick had only made 2 calls. Roxanne, however, had dialed the woman again and again from Rick's phone, spiraling deeper into rage. His partner, Roxanne, had once worked as a licensed practical nurse. Her temper short-fused. The woman once known for caring for others was now drowning in mental instability, perhaps intensified by childhood trauma and untreated PTSD. But 8 years earlier, a surgical attempt to treat her seizures by removing a portion of her brain, specifically the anterior right temporal lobe, had changed her. She became impulsive, erratic. That night, Roxanne snapped, then admitted to hitting him again and again and again. At the hospital, she clutched her chest, feigning a heart attack. A nurse later testified that Roxanne confessed, "I only wanted to hurt him a little. Taken together, it was monstrous savagery." She told her neighbor Rick had been calling an ex. She destroyed Rick's motorcycle, slashed the brake lines, and battered him in the face with a plastic baseball bat. She tortured Rick for hours and then calmly called 911. There were bruises on his genitals. His scrotum had been pierced through with the metal end of a broom handle, tearing through flesh and reaching his small intestine. When her neighbor offered to call an ambulance, Roxanne refused. By July, she was indicted, and by fall, she claimed she was not guilty by reason of insanity. Others said she knew exactly what she was doing. As a former nurse, she had medical knowledge enough to understand pain, damage, and when to stop. But she didn't. Then, in the dead of night at 2:30 a.m., his cell phone had been snapped in half and placed eerily on his chest. The apartment was in chaos, walls, carpet, and furniture splattered with blood. A pair of needle-nose pliers, a broken broom handle, a razor, a brown belt, blood-soaked clothes spun quietly in the washing machine. She called Rick's boss with a chilling lie. Rick had been sick all day, and they had just returned from the hospital. At 8:30 a.m., she finally called 911. The words were robotic. "He's not breathing. He's in the tub." When first responders arrived, what they found was not a medical emergency, but a horror scene. Rick Jeski's body was broken, mutilated, and soaked in blood. Roxanne's story unraveled immediately. She told officers Rick had fallen repeatedly. But Rick's injuries told another story, one too gruesome to be imagined. His nose was shattered. His eye had been sliced so deeply the inner fluid leaked out. Puncture wounds littered his body. His hide bone was fractured, a telltale sign of strangulation. The brutality was so extreme that the medical examiner said any one of the injuries alone could have signaled depraved indifference. On June 22nd, 2011, Roxanne Jeski was charged with murder. Psychiatrists examined her for over 2 years. Some argued she was psychotic. In fact, she ignored multiple chances to get help. She turned down offers for an ambulance. She lied to Rick's boss. She destroyed the evidence. On May 3rd, the court reached a chilling conclusion. Roxanne Jeski had committed intentional, knowing murder. She was found guilty. Her defense asked for a new trial, claiming she was actively psychotic during the proceeding. The court denied the motion. On June 27th, 2014, she was sentenced to 50 years in prison. Nearly a decade later, on January 8th, Roxanne Jeski died behind bars at 8:35 p.m. But the horror she inflicted lives on is one of Maine's most brutal, incomprehensible acts of domestic violence, a stark reminder of the terrifying power of unchecked rage. Mental illness and a mind that lost all sense of reality. For more crime real stories, like the video and subscribe the channel. Thanks for watching.